Hey,
Hey,
how you doing?
doing good.
Let me see. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Sweet spot. Sweet spot is good. Confirm. Okay. She deserves. Yeah. Okay. All right. Get back on. Invite her. How do I invite her? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'll come back up again. What is her name again? I'm trying to get you back on, Alicia. Let me do that. Sam. Oh, it's not letting me just take her. Oh, put you. Let me go live with no. I'm like she don't. Why is her name not coming up? Okay, good. Okay, good. All right. Sorry about that.
Hey, it's okay.
It was a little dilemma. A little dilemma. All right, just hold on 1 second.
Okay.
I'm getting these technical difficulties in rap.
The joys of technology.
Oh yeah. Okay. So, are you coming on or no? You got to put your camera on if you're gonna put your camera on.
Uh, live
You know where to.
access need to go live. It's not letting me turn it on.
What else? That's strange.
I don't know.
That's interesting. You using your phone? Can't turn on.
Yeah.
The kid doesn't have access to join with you. Oh, okay, fancy. Okay, it does not. Okay. It even told me that you don't have access. It's fancy. TikTok is fancy.
Oh well.
Oh wow.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Hold on 1 second. Let's see how we do this here. Okay. All right. So since TikTok want to be funny,
So funny.
it wants to be funny, yeah. Because I was like, okay, why can't she put? And it says like it does not allow you to put the camera. I'm like, okay,
Fine.
all right,
Whatever.
whatever, you know. But anyway, so thank you, Alex, for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Of
I will
course.
I will first introduce myself and then I'll have you introduce yourself. And if there's anything that you want to promote, please do. So that's how we usually go about it. So my name is HR and I have this platform called I Made Peace with Autism. It's my weekly podcast where I speak to individuals, I speak to parents, medical professionals on their journey with autism, either because they have a family member that has it or they work with children and adults that have it. We also do speak to individuals that have other learning disabilities such as ADHD. We also spoke to others that have cerebral palsy and different disabilities. So today we are speaking to Alex. I call her Alex for short. She is someone that has ADHD and she is willing to come and give us some of the insight on her journey. She is amazing. She's a great poet. She'll let you know where you can find her poetry. Um, she has a very fruitful life. So her example will help a lot of others that may have the same disability and are succeeding and doing well. So we you can also find us on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Facebook. You can find us same HR Parent Support Club. The only difference and on Spotify is I Made Peace with Autism. So we are welcoming Alex today. Alex, welcome.
Hi. Thank you, everyone. Uh, so I'm Alexander Stanwyck. As HR said, I am a poet. I do a lot of my writing and publishing through Focal.media. So that's Focal as VOCAL.media. I do it kind of like a paid hobby kind of situation, I guess if you want to call it that. Something I do on the side that I love very much. Um, and yeah, I'm very excited to share my story and some insights on what it's like living with ADHD.
All right, thank you so much and welcome. And if you don't mind, please put that in the comments so they can know exactly where they can find your poetry. Okay, you type that in the comments so they can have that. And if you have another flyer that has all your information, you can DM me that information so I can put it on my page because we love to promote positive entrepreneurs like yourself.
Okay, I will do that.
All right. Okay. So as soon as you're done, just let me know. All right. Let me see. All right. Let me do this. And thank you for the likes, everyone. We
Thank you.
are about to start on our journey. And let's see, your title will be. Okay.
All right, and I am all done.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So So we're gonna start off with a few questions, and you can let us know about your journey. I know since you're the individual that dealt with ADHD, when is the first time that you would say you started to know that maybe you learn a little different or you see things a little different from other kids?
Um, so I picked up on it pretty quickly. Fortunately, I was diagnosed very early. I was 4, so it was explained to me that I was going to think differently. My learning was going to be a little bit different than the other kids. Um, and I'm very thankful that I had that knowledge beforehand. I think the biggest thing would be was I would finish my work very quickly, and I had a
Mm,
tendency to behave in very class clown kind
okay.
of way. I
Okay.
definitely was known for tipping my chair back on occasion.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
or I've also been told I was the type of kid to go and take other kids' work, so we could speed up the process. I felt like they were going too slow. Um,
Okay.
so
Okay.
yeah, those would definitely be the biggest things from like very early on.
Hmm.
Um, I as I got older, I started to notice like other things that made me different than the other kids. Um, Definitely the focusing could be hard.
Mm,
Um, Thankfully they kept us on a good schedule, or
okay.
well, I guess kind of a good schedule, so it helped um a little bit. And my parents, especially my mom, was very strict about how we were supposed to handle ourselves when we got home. So we knew that we needed to go ahead and get our homework done. And we tried not to spend hours and hours on end trying not to get distracted. But,
Okay.
um, yeah. So I guess focusing would have been the hardest thing when it came to school for me.
4%. Okay. Was it that it was maybe even the teachers were going too slow for you, or was it that you or you already understood what they were saying, or is it that you just didn't want to focus for too long? How was it exactly?
Um, So exactly what sometimes it did feel like the teachers were going too slow, especially if it was a subject that I picked up pretty
Hmm.
easily.
Hmm.
Like math. Math came pretty easy to me to the point that teachers were aware that I had ADHD, and one thing that we made sure they understood was that I couldn't get bored, because then that's when the trouble came.
Okay.
So there was some things that I learned ahead of my grade level for the sake of making sure I didn't have a chance to get bored. So,
Okay.
sometimes it was the teachers I felt like were slow, which they weren't. They had to accommodate for the whole class.
Yeah, there, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, but so mostly I felt like everyone was moving too slow because
Okay.
for the most part I could pick up on stuff a little bit quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Um, But yeah, I would say that I just felt like everyone was going a little too
Was
slow for
going
my
too
taste,
slow
I
for your
guess.
taste. Yeah. Okay. And
Yeah.
what and how did it go? Like at the beginning of the school year, did your parents speak to your teachers, or did your teachers like pass down the information to the next grade teacher? How did it work out?
So it actually would start before school.
Okay.
The teachers, of course, communicated with each other. It was in my record.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but my parents, mostly during elementary school level, um, they would go in for an orientation day, which was about a week or two before school started.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom especially made a point of saying, it's like, okay, this is what you need to be prepared for. It should
Mm-hmm.
already be on her records, but we're going ahead and making sure it's out there and in the open.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then as we got older, she encouraged us to make a point of letting our teachers know for ourselves,
Oh, that's
that we
good.
dealt with this, and maybe
Okay.
mention ways that just like, hey, I do have a tendency that if I get a little bored, I can get into some trouble. But thankfully, by that point, I understood the structure of school and that I couldn't behave in certain behaviors
Mm-hmm.
um, during school time or do things because I was bored. I had a little bit, maybe not much, but I had a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more restraint. Um, so it wasn't nearly as bad when we got to that age. I would say that would be about like even third, fourth grade that she was
Okay.
encouraging us to talk to our teachers.
Okay. 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 And when you say us, is it that you have a sibling that
I do have a couple of siblings, and we
you have
all
a couple?
have our different, yeah, we have all have our different things that we have to deal with. So she encouraged all of us to advocate for ourselves.
That is great. Okay. Okay. That is a good thing. So basically you and your siblings were able to advocate for yourself because you're able to say this is what I need, assistance in or
Mm-hmm.
to watch out for. Okay, that's good. So parents, hey, you can also have your kids advocate for themselves. So that's actually a great thing because you may not always be with them. So that's a great thing to do. That was definitely a great thing. So when you got to like junior high, how did things change? Because we definitely were talking about elementary. How did the learning
Yeah.
experience and life experience was different when you got to your junior high years?
Um, Definitely, it was very different in the sense that there was definitely a lot more work. So
Mhm.
the chance of me getting bored was very, very low.
Mhm.
Um, Especially since I was they tried to encourage me to take like the higher level classes, but the
Okay.
only class that I did, I guess what would be considered a higher level was my math classes because I
Okay.
enjoyed math. I loved math
Okay.
and I didn't
Mhm.
mind trying to do a little extra work.
Mhm.
Um, but I didn't take on any extra. They called it AP classes. I don't
Mhm.
remember what AP stood for.
Mhm.
Um,
Advanced placement. Mhm.
Yep, that.
Mhm.
I didn't have to worry about it, so I didn't bother to learn the name. Um, but and the teachers were very what's the word phrasing I want to use? They were very I guess they were very pleased with my learning habit, anyways, because I also was a bit of an overachiever, so I
Okay.
often gave myself more work.
Okay.
So like for reading classes, if we had a writing assignment, I definitely was the type that I would be technically finished like within, I guess, like a week of having the assignment, but I
Mm.
would spend the rest of the time rewriting the assignment because I also had perfectionist things going on.
Okay. Okay.
So I kind of kept myself busy, and the teachers and I, for the most part, had a really good relationship, and they understood where I stood, and they knew what they were going to get when they had me in their class.
Okay. Okay. And how would you say the school helped you? Um,
Um, hmm, how would I say? Uh, I mean, that's a weird question. Only because I didn't have nearly as much trouble in school as other kids with
okay.
ADHD, as I've
Okay.
heard. I didn't have
Okay.
nearly as much trouble.
Okay.
Um, and
Everybody's
part of
experience is
that
different. Yeah.
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 So I wouldn't say I had too much help from the school.
Okay.
There would definitely be specific things that certain teachers would do.
Hmm.
Like there was a teacher in my junior year, senior year, that she was okay with us playing music in our headphones
Okay.
during like a test or an assignment,
Uh-huh.
as long as like it wasn't causing an issue. If it was obviously affecting things, then there would be a conversation and then you had to figure out something else. um
Okay.
but I was the type of person I would have music playing in my ears because
Okay.
I hate the quiet so much. It tends
Okay.
to the quiet tends to distract me more than music playing. Um, so it'd
Okay.
be just like little things that teachers would do in the classrooms, um, that they would notice something. It's just like, hey, what can I do to help? Um,
Mhm.
Overall, with the school, I wouldn't say I had, per se any extra help from them, but
Mhm.
I also was in a case where I probably didn't need the extra help.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I'm sure the school had stuff. I would hope so.
Okay.
Um, Hopefully they had stuff
Mhm.
available if I needed it, but it
Mhm.
was nothing I ever asked for.
Okay.
Um, and hopefully, I also know I was born at a certain time, that it was a little bit better than like maybe my parents,
Mhm.
but you didn't really talk a lot about ADHD or ADD or any other learning disabilities or
Mhm.
neuro diversity
Mhm.
um, things. You didn't really talk about that.
No.
So there
Mm-mm.
might not been as much stuff available when
Mhm.
I was in school than what hopefully is available now.
Now.
Hopefully it's better for some of the other kids because I know it's more of a conversation now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely agree. And how was it now as a young lady in high school? Because now you're dealing with a different stage in your life because now you're older, you're a teenager, you're dealing with teenage issues, hormones, different, how does ADHD affect you in that stage in your life?
Um, I definitely feel like being a teenager was lovely. I definitely feel like, especially with like puberty and such, it changed things. So when I
Mhm.
was younger, I had definitely a lot more of the actual physical hyperactivity that it seems to be popular with you think of ADHD where you can't stop moving and
Mhm.
you're up and out of your chair all the time.
Mhm.
That kind of dwindled, with puberty. At least I feel like it did for me.
Mhm.
Where a lot more of my, I guess, hyperactivity was
Mhm.
more in my head, but there was still like little fidgeting
Oh,
things I would
gotcha.
do
Gotcha. Yeah.
as a teenager.
Mhm.
Um, but I think it got to the point where it became more invisible.
Okay.
So people would be shocked when it's just like, "Oh yeah, I have ADHD." It's like, "Oh, really? You don't look like you do." It's just like,
Mhm.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean. That I look like, but but yeah, it definitely became more of an N word.
Mm.
Having to deal with certain things. Um, I also know for me, it also led to, it's not an official diagnosis, but
Mhm.
I did start dealing with like depression and
Okay.
anxiety
Okay.
and such and things like that, which seems to be a common side effect of having ADHD is that
Okay.
it can lead to having other mental disorders. Um,
Okay.
so I definitely had more of like the dark dots, the anxious dots. My mind wouldn't stop racing about very or situations that probably would never happen.
Mhm.
Um, so I definitely had to deal a lot with that, and then of course there were certain things that happened during that time period that made certain issues that I already had worse.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then I'm about to say, those of us who went to high school kind of know some of the things that you had to deal with at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it flares, it kind of makes certain things that you've learned to live with, but at that point, even worse. So you have to get to this point. It's just like, how am I supposed to deal with being a teenager,
Mhm.
all my schoolwork that's expected of me.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, and plus I have this learning disability, and then I have to think about my future. So
Mhm.
it definitely was a lot in my head.
Mhm.
Um, I think the hardest year, just in general, and it kind of made things with my ADHD a little bit harder to figure
Mhm.
out, was
Mhm.
definitely 10th grade. But there was a lot happening in my personal life, and then the
Okay.
school was like really, there's things happening at school that made things
Mm.
difficult.
Mhm.
Um, so I would say it was definitely harder than when I was, in elementary school because things were
Mhm.
more right there in everyone's faces and there's like,
Mhm.
okay, we gotta deal with this. But then
Mhm.
it changed into something that was just like it was all inside.
Okay.
And I had to be like, okay, I have to learn how to figure this out um in a way that maybe it doesn't interfere with anything else in my life.
Mm.
So yeah, I would definitely say especially my junior and senior year might have been harder with my ADHD in the sense of like there's just so much they put on you at that point,
Yeah.
and it's so much happening in your head that you're just like ah, you feel like you're going to explode.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. So you would definitely say it was harder
Yeah,
from being a kid to now a teenager.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then you feel other things develop during your teenage years.
yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
okay.
Um,
Okay.
Stuff that's not formally diagnosed, but it's
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
stuff that it it came up and it's just like,
Mm.
something else on my plate. Hooray.
Okay.
Uh,
And what are some of the things that you did personally to deal with it, or some of the resources that you found? Like, what are some of the things that helped you?
um, so there are some things I definitely will say do not do.
Hmm.
I was definitely one who internalized a lot of it, and I
Okay.
wasn't very good about talking about it with people,
Okay.
especially my parents. So
Okay.
that would be my biggest thing is that talk to,
Hmm.
especially your parents when you're in high school that you're dealing with these things,
Hmm. Hmm.
because yes, at that point people start expecting you to like figure things out for yourself, but you
Yeah.
really shouldn't have to.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, so definitely talk to someone,
Hmm.
your parents, or even someone who's kind of in the same boat as you, because then you have
Hmm.
someone else in your corner who gets it.
Hmm.
Or just a really good friend who's
Hmm.
not going to judge you
Hmm.
for the little quirks that you might have, or
Hmm.
the things that might seem really frustrating to you that might not be to someone else.
Hmm.
Um, I also found that reading was
Hmm.
an escape from everything. That was something that I had all when I was a kid. My
Hmm.
mom would read to us when we were little, and it just was something that I took with me. Like, I'm a big reader now. So reading was an escape for me. It was also that point I kind of realized that I might have liked writing at that
Yeah.
point,
Okay.
but it would be, yeah, it would be little moments. Mostly was like a school assignment. I was just like,
Hmm.
this actually seems kind of fun. Um,
Hmm.
and there would be moments that like I would write a little something. I was never very good at like journaling or writing in a diary,
Okay.
but it was something about like writing my feelings down in like a poem or something that made it
Sorry about that.
easier. It's okay. You don't see me, but I'm dancing to
You
her
did too.
ringtone. Um, oh, but um,
Oh,
and I will also say my doctor that I had at that point. Um, of course, it was still a weird time where you had to had to figure out how to diagnose people with
God.
things like ADHD and such. So it was still a weird time that doctors might have not been as or what's it, how they might have not tried to help you as much as possible, which
Yeah.
sounds awful. But which it was the time period. I feel like it wasn't a conversation until like, 5 years ago. Um
You'd be surprised. It's still a
but I
problem
did,
now.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Still a
But my
problem.
doctor was pretty good, I would say, about trying to make sure I had help.
Hmm.
Because like I was also on medication for a time. Well, I
Okay.
guess if you want to call it being on medication.
Okay.
Um, when I first was diagnosed, they put me on medicine because I also had ODD, which is oppositional
Oh.
defiance disorder.
Oh, and can you explain
Which
that?
Yeah. So, in simplest terms, it's pretty much that I have a hard time with authority, and I can be defiant, and I can be very difficult when it comes to authority figures. It's not as much of a problem now, but that's because I've learned and matured and realized that there's going to be time for authority.
Hmm.
Um, but and normally, I mean, I've heard with other people's stories that they try not to give medicines to kids because your brain is still developing. Things can change as
Sure.
you get older, especially with puberty. Um, but it got to a point that it was a necessity because of my ODD.
Hmm.
That the ADHD just made that so much worse that I was on medication for a little bit. Was
Okay.
I very good and consistent about taking it? Probably not. Um, and then by the time I was in high school, I was officially with the doctor's, I guess, blessing and everything. I was officially taken off of it.
Okay.
Um, yeah, but yeah, for the most part, I know doctors and other people I've heard, they try not to give the medicine that early in the game because your brain is still developing as a
Yeah.
kid and
Hmm.
things will change in the future. Um, I know what they say some of the concerns are.
Hmm.
I mean, I can't say for sure if I had any of those concerns that they usually have later on about like it messing with my brain chemistry and that because I
Okay.
wasn't consistent about taking it.
Okay. Okay.
Um, I
Okay.
do remember it helped, when I
Okay.
was being a little bit more consistent in
Okay.
elementary school, mostly because my
Okay.
mother kept on me and made sure I took it.
Okay.
Thanks, mom. Um,
Moms
thanks,
are the
mom.
best,
I, you know,
huh?
maybe at that point I didn't appreciate it,
Hmm.
but now as I've gotten older and
Hmm.
I've realized some of the stuff I had to deal with
Hmm.
without having to deal with medication, and also hearing other people's stories, that I'm just like, you know what, the medicine might have helped
Okay.
a little
Okay.
bit.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So you notice that more as an adult, but not when you were actually taking it.
yeah. Well,
Gotcha.
when you're a kid, sometimes you hear certain things that your parents are trying to encourage you to do, or your parents are trying to do
Hmm.
stuff for you that you might not really appreciate until you
Hmm.
get older. It's just like, huh, you know
Yeah.
what? They might know something.
Yeah.
Why wasn't I listening to them? What? Why didn't I just listen and
They may be
behave
onto
myself?
something. They may be onto
They
something.
may be onto something. Oh, oh, yeah. That would be my biggest thing, was definitely like talking to people. And if you are on medicine at that age, if you have problems, and of course, hopefully your doctor has this conversation with you. Just like if you're noticing certain things, like your brain's fuzzy or you just feel exhausted or something, you could talk to your doctor and have them change the dosage or maybe figure out something else.
Hmm.
But definitely, I wish I had been better about talking about what was going on inside my head and not
Hmm.
internalizing everything, because I think it would have helped things a lot more when I was in high school.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's great advice. So that's the advice, definitely good advice that you would give to anyone in high school right now.
Yeah.
Talking to your parents, talking to someone that cares.
Mhm.
And if medication helps, that can be another option as well.
Yeah.
And then now I will transition now because I know you're no longer in high school. So now as an adult, what are
As an
some of the
adult.
you did I
It's
know, it's
crazy I
so
made it
good.
here.
You made it. So as an adult, as a young adult, as a young lady, how does it affect you? What are some of the things you do to help yourself? So it's going to be a three-part
Uh,
question. And what advice would you give?
yeah.
Three-part question.
Okay. So as an adult, um, I I don't even notice it
Okay.
anymore. It's something I've lived with since I was 4. I've known that I've had this since I was 4.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't. There's things that I do that I might not even really notice until someone points it out to me. It's just like, you do this fidgeting thing. I'm like, oh, do I? Oh, don't
Mm-hmm.
mind that. That's not going anywhere anytime soon, so you're going to have to deal with it too. But so it's gotten to the point that I don't really notice it. It's definitely times that I'll especially like if I'm at work that I'll be sitting there. I'm just like I can't focus. I'm
Mm-hmm.
having a very hard time focusing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and thankfully I'm in a setting with my job, or I guess jobs I should say. That I'm yes, it's a sit down. It's a job that requires me to sit down at a desk, but my bosses don't expect me to be sitting there the entire
Mm-hmm.
time. So if I
Okay.
need a moment to get up and walk away, I'm allowed that. Um, and then the
And
other
you
thing
said
is that I
jobs.
have a little bit
So that's how
at
fancy. You
jobs.
said
Yes,
jobs. You have a S behind the job.
I do.
That's
um,
fancy. All right.
yeah. So it's two part-time jobs.
Okay.
One I'm a bookkeeper for a small business, and then the other one I'm a receptionist at a clinic. Two very different things.
Mhm.
I don't mind that they're so different. I actually kind of appreciate it because it gives me a little bit of a breakup within my schedule.
Mhm.
Um, and so like at the with my bookkeeping, I have a little bit more freedom that I can again, I don't like the quiet. That has not changed. Um, and I've actually gotten to the point that I will play in the background a
Mhm.
show that I have watched like a bunch of times because I don't have to actually focus on it, but it's something other. And
Okay.
I'll still listen to music, but there's
Yeah.
times I'm just like, you know what? I don't think music is going to cut it, so I'll play a show in the background that I've watched a
Okay.
thousand times.
Okay.
I can't. I don't have that kind of freedom at my other job as a
Okay.
receptionist because I
Okay.
do have to interact with the public. Um,
Okay.
but and I have a great set of like coworkers and such, and they know that I have it, and so they aren't surprised if I get up at one point. I'm just like I had to be away from my computer for like 5 minutes. I'm tired of sitting. Um, so yeah, it's not too bad.
Okay. That's good.
There are moments that I'm just like, I wish that I didn't have it, especially like if I feel the pressure that I have to get something done by a certain time. That I'm just like,
Okay.
and then it's the worst time ever that I just can't focus on anything. So I'm just
Mhm.
like, ah, why won't you work? Um, so yeah, as far as like that, I've had it for so long that
Mhm.
I there's things that I learned from being a teenager, being a kid
Mhm.
that I kind of just took it with me into adulthood.
Mhm.
Um, like another thing I'll do is cause I have my memory is like crappy. Um,
Mhm.
that I'll write everything down. I have a planner which my phone is propped up against right now. That I have. I'm one of those people who has the color coded planner situation going on. Yay! It's not just me. Well, I love the color. I love seeing
Mhm.
all the different colors, and it helps
Mhm.
me break down. It's like, okay, this is my day.
Mhm.
This is what I have to accomplish. And it also
Mhm.
becomes like my diary. So, like,
Mhm.
when it comes to anything with like my health,
Mhm.
with anything that happened like beforehand, it's like, okay, this is something I had to take care of
Mhm.
today. And yes, it's done, but maybe I should write it down just in case someone asks me about this later because I
Mhm.
won't remember.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm very, very finicky about that kind of thing at work too. They'll notice
Mhm.
it that I'll that my boss is very big on emails and us responding. So I have like a whole system. I was like, okay, I see the email. Okay, let me go ahead and respond to it now while I'm looking at this and not distracted because I will forget later. As soon as I get
Mhm.
up or do anything else, I will forget.
Mhm.
Um, so that's another thing. I'll say I've gotten to the mindset that certain things I have to take care of at exactly that moment or else it's not going to get done.
Okay.
Unless someone reminds me later.
Okay.
Occasionally I'll get a reminder. It's like, hey, did you see this and take care of this? It's like, I did see that. I have a note right here that I saw it.
Mhm.
But I forgot about it as soon as I looked at that next email and took care of everything on that email. Um, so, you know, and thankfully I work with good people or I'm friends with really good people that they know how I am. And sometimes I need the reminders. Um,
Mhm.
I'm very thankful for the reminders because some things would just fall into the black hole of wherever it goes, and it would never be seen again. It will never be done. So I'm thankful for reminders. Um, but yeah, I would say it's not too bad as an adult. I
Okay.
guess.
Okay. No, that's good. I mean, everybody's experience is different, and I like the fact that you're telling your
Yeah,
truth. It's not that bad. You're able to deal with
yeah,
it, so that gives a lot of
yeah,
people hope, and they know, hey, it's gonna get better, or you're gonna be able to deal with it better. Let's put it that way.
yeah. You can deal
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
I promise. So
Mhm.
look now. You told me there was three parts. I'm trying to remember what part two is. Um,
What advice
it's
would you
happening, y'all.
give?
Good advice. Um, if you have a tendency to forget things, go ahead and write it down. Do not be ashamed of the sticky notes everywhere, of
Mhm.
little notes to remind yourself.
Mhm.
Um, because especially if you've dealt with it for a while, you know how you
Mhm.
are at that point. It's like so don't be
Mhm.
ashamed of having notes everywhere.
Mhm.
Um, and also keep learning about it and go and try to see, I guess, yourself and other people's
Mhm.
stories. Because that's actually how I learned about other things that I'll do that I
Mhm.
didn't realize were kind of associated with ADHD.
Mhm.
Like, I learned from, I forgot who the person was. I should have written it down. But there's this woman on TikTok that was talking about like some of the
Mhm.
things that seem to be typical with ADHD
Mhm.
and like sensory or not sensory spatial awareness
Mhm.
is bad. And I say it's just it
Mhm.
goes downhill apparently with having ADHD, which I
Mhm.
have dealt with my whole life. That I'll run into things that have always
Mhm.
been there because
Mhm.
I thought I was farther away from it, and I learned it's just like, oh yeah, a lot of people with ADHD do that. It's like, oh, that
Mhm.
explains so much. And now I'm even more thankful that I don't bruise easily because I have a feeling CPS would have came to our door with the amount of times I would have little incidents. Um, so yeah, so definitely learn about whatever it is you're having,
Okay.
especially now that it's becoming more of a conversation.
Mhm.
Thankfully, I
Mhm.
mean, of course, there's still some who are going to say it's not a thing, but people are being
Yeah.
more open about their stories and talking about what they have to deal with, um, and the kind of things to expect. Especially like if you're getting diagnosed as an adult. Um,
Mm.
it and it was definitely recently that I was just like, I am so thankful I was diagnosed when I was because
Mm.
I'll read these stories from other people about how their life was. I'm like, I can't I can only I guess speculate about what
Mhm.
my life would have been like without knowing about it.
Mhm.
Um and it just made me think, I was like, oh my goodness, it could have been a whole lot worse.
Yeah, true.
So yeah,
True. Hmm.
yeah. So definitely learn from other people and try not to compare yourself to
Hmm.
other people, which of course it's coming from someone who compares themselves to people all the
Hmm.
time. Um, try
Hmm.
not to compare yourself to other people, especially those who have the same thing
Hmm.
that you're dealing with, because
Hmm.
everyone's story is different. Everyone has their different things they had to deal with.
Hmm.
Like for me, my you know, I don't even think about it half the time when I do something
Yeah.
that's considered like a very ADHD thing to do.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
don't even think about it because it's just something I've dealt with forever.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
someone else's story is going to be very different from mine, especially if they
Hmm.
just got diagnosed as an adult.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
yeah. And what's the last piece of advice I want to give? Um, laugh at yourself. Because
Yeah. Yeah.
it can get frustrating and it can put you in a dark place
Hmm.
with, if you get continuously frustrated with yourself
Hmm.
or so
Hmm.
I've learned to laugh at myself,
Hmm.
especially when I do something that, like, I mentioned the spatial awareness issue before I
Hmm.
run into something. It's just like, yep, I was just making sure that it was still there. Um,
Hmm.
it has not moved from its spot that it's
Hmm.
been there for the last 20 years. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, that would be my other day, is to laugh at yourself.
Hmm.
Your brain is going to work a little bit differently than other
Hmm.
people.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, some people can be cruel, and it kind of lessens whatever they're saying if you kind of poke fun at yourself a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, that would be my last piece of advice.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for giving us your experience, for saying your
Of
journey.
course.
We appreciate your
Yep.
time and we appreciate you telling us. Okay. Again, so if you want to say where could they find your poetry, go ahead and type that in the
Oh,
comments as
yeah.
well.
Let me get my phone up. So, as I mentioned before, it is vocal.media.
Hmm.
Um, I am typing it in very slowly into the comment section. Um, and also, I guess, because there's not really like a flyer situation that I have.
Hmm.
I wish I could. Am I able to send a link, like in the chat?
Um,
Do you know?
I do see a link here. Did you the vocal media? I think it is here.
Uh, is that the one I typed in?
Yeah, that's what I see here. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a
I'll
little more
just type
tricky
that.
on TikTok for links, but what you could do is use, you see how your logo you have here, and you could
Yeah.
make like a page on like CapCut and then put your information, that link there, and then people could just, post it on your page or send it to other people, and then they could just put it,
Okay.
yeah, and then people could always check it out on their own.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I'll do this way because, of course, I don't have any of that available to me right now. Um.
You can also
So
do it
yeah.
on
So
TikTok too. Just use your logo
yeah.
and use your link, and then make it like a page, make it like a template, and just post that, and then people could just use that, and you can share that out. Because TikTok is, it's
Okay.
almost as,
Yeah.
you can do those
Yeah.
things
You
on
would think
TikTok.
someone of my age would know all this, and I'm like, I only use TikTok to scroll. Um. Maybe follow someone occasionally. So I'm just like, oh, I don't know any of this.
Got
Um.
you. Got you.
See, it's not just the older people
It's
who
just,
struggle. It's I about to say, don't feel bad, y'all. So let me send that so it's up there because I'm almost
okay.
scared that if I do
Okay.
something funky,
We got it. We got it.
uh, okay, it's up
We got
there.
it.
Okay,
Yeah, we got it.
right.
All right. So we will
Um,
definitely, yeah. So
yeah.
explain again, where can we find you?
Oh yes. So it's focal.media. My name is Alexandra Stanwyck on there. I have been writing on there for it's been years. So there's definitely a lot that you can read. And while I'll do mostly poetry, I'll do also like short stories. I do some nonfiction pieces. And I've actually written about having ADHD on there
Okay.
as well a little bit. Where
Okay.
exact or the exact name of that story I couldn't tell
Okay.
you. Um,
Okay.
you will find it on there eventually. um, but yeah, so again, it's
Oh,
focal.media and it's VOCAL
okay.
dot media because I do know
Okay.
that I have like a speech impediment too sometimes. So no, we'll spell it out for those who might have not understood me.
You're too funny. So thank you again for joining us. If you want to see this podcast, I Made Peace with Autism, you can check us out on YouTube. I put the full live on YouTube. We also on Instagram, Facebook, and on TikTok. We have our podcast on Mondays at 9 and Tuesdays at 9. So thank you again for everybody that has been here. Thank you again, Alex, for talking about ADHD. And we talk about any disability, learning disabilities. Yes, we do focus on autism, but we also talk about ADHD, cerebral palsy, and other disabilities because we are here to help everybody. All right. Thank you. And all of you guys have a good night. Good night, Alex. Thank you again.
Of course. Good night, everyone.